Now let's take you live where Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Gujarat right now. He has to preside over the 150th birth anniversary celebrations of Birsa Munda at Dediapada in Narmada district today on November 15th. On this occasion, the Prime Minister will also lay the foundation stone and inaugurate projects worth 9,700 crore rupees today. In fact, as part of the celebration, Prime Minister will also visit the revered Devmogra Temple nestled in the Satpura Hills to worship the goddess who is deeply revered by the tribal community. In fact, you can see on your screens right now tribal artists from various states, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Gujarat, welcoming the Prime Minister in their traditional attire as Prime Minister reaches there in Gujarat. Also, Prime Minister's journey with the tribal communities began not only in offices but in the small villages of Gujarat, and as a young pracharak, he had spent years among Janjatiya families across Sabarkantha, Baroda and Dang, staying in their homes himself, sharing their meals and understanding their struggles firsthand. And during the droughts of the 1980s in Gujarat, Prime Minister Modi had himself arranged for the delivery of food and water to tribal families when many villages were cut off from aid. He urged the volunteers to replace lavish celebrations with something more meaningful, like sponsoring the education of a tribal child. And at a Vanvasi Kalyan Ashram gathering in Silvassa, Prime Minister's speech on tribal culture, referencing nearly 50 books, left President Zail Singh deeply impressed at that time. And later, as the BJP's State General Secretary, he mentored new tribal leaders and released Gujarat's first tribal Hak Patra, that is the Tribal Rights Manifesto 1995, which focused on housing, health and the dignity of indigenous tribes. These experiences itself shaped his belief that tribal communities require not only compassion but also opportunities. In the years that followed, his commitment grew to ensure every tribal family received what they had already always deserved, a life of dignity and self-reliance. Up on your screens, you can see Prime Minister Modi's carcade in Narmada, Gujarat right now, and the tribal communities welcoming him in their original attire. Tribal artists from Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and Gujarat welcoming the Prime Minister in their traditional attire. And now you can see Prime Minister there at the Devmogra Temple in the Satpura Mountains range, which resemble Nepal's Pashupatinath temple also. Prime Minister Modi performing puja there to mark the 150th birth anniversary of the hero of the tribal community, Bhagwan Birsa Munda. The national level celebration of Janjatiya Gaurav Divas will be presided over by Prime Minister today at Dediapada in Narmada district. And Prime Minister right now offering prayers at the famous Yahamogi Devmogra Dham, nestled among the natural beauty of the Satpura mountain range. This enchanting dham is a center of deep faith for the tribal community and carries unparalleled spiritual significance. In fact, the temple of Pandori Mata, Yahamogi, the clan deity of the tribal community, is located at Devmogra in Sadbara Taluka of Narmada district. And in this shrine, situated in the lap of nature amid the gorges of the Satpura mountains, the self-manifested Yaha Pandori Devmogra Mata has been enshrined as Kani Kansari since time immemorial. In fact, here in the temple, tribal communities from Gujarat, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan worship Yahamogi Pandori as their clan deity, with offers blessings, prayers for the well-being of every individual. And Prime Minister right now performing puja there in the temple. It is believed that anyone who comes weeping before the goddess returns with a smiling and comforted heart. Prime Minister Modi offering prayers at the revered Devmogra Temple, the temple of Pandori Mata Yahamogi, the clan deity of the tribal community, which is located at Devmogra in Sagbara Taluka of Narmada district. Prime Minister Modi seeking blessings of Pandori Mata, the clan deity of the tribal community. And in this shrine situated in the lap of nature, amid the gorges of the Satpura mountains, the self-manifested Yaha Pandori Devmogra Mata has been enshrined as Kani Kansari since time immemorial. In fact, all the tribal communities from the nearby states, from Gujarat, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, worship the deity Yahamogi Pandori as their clan deity, with offers, blessings, prayers for the well-being of every individual. Today, on the occasion of the 150th birth anniversary, Janjatiya Gaurav Varsh is being celebrated across India to honor the valor and invaluable contribution of the tribal heroes. And today, on November 15, 2025, the central government has marked the 150th birth anniversary of Dharti Aba Bhagwan Birsa Munda with a national level celebration of Janjatiya Gaurav Divas. In fact, Prime Minister will also unveil several development projects worth over 9,700 crore rupees today. And as part of the celebration, the Prime Minister is right now visiting the revered Devmogra Dham nestled in the Satpura hills to worship the goddess, who is deeply revered by the tribal community. In fact, to accelerate Gujarat's development, central government will present development projects worth many crore rupees, and the state government will also present development projects worth 2,112 crore rupees to the state. And a special play on the life of Dharti Aba Bhagwan Birsa Munda will also be staged at Ekta Nagar today in the evening. In fact, in this temple, the Grand Gad Yatra, that is a fort procession, is also organized every year on the Mahashivratri day at Devmogra, the abode of Raja Pantha Vinadev. And in this procession, the goddess is traditionally taken with musical instruments and dance to bathe in a natural spring situated amidst the forest and mountains of the fort. In fact, it is believed that after worshipping the goddess, the forecast for the coming year's agriculture, rainfall and weather is made through a ritual. And thousands of devotees also plan their agricultural activities for the year in advance based on this forecast. Prime Minister's journey with the tribal communities began not only in offices but in the small villages of Gujarat. As we told you, as a young pracharak, Prime Minister Modi himself spent years among the Janjatiya families across Sabarkantha, Baroda and Dang, staying in their homes, sharing their meals and understanding their struggles firsthand. And during the droughts of the 1980s in Gujarat, Prime Minister Modi himself arranged for the delivery of food and water to the tribal families when many villages were cut off from aid, and he urged the volunteers to replace lavish celebrations with something more meaningful, like sponsoring the education of a tribal child. And at a Vanvasi Kalyan Ashram gathering in Silvassa, Prime Minister Modi's speech on tribal culture, referencing nearly 50 books at that time, left President Zail Singh deeply impressed. Later, as BJP's State General Secretary, he mentored new tribal leaders and released Gujarat's first tribal Hak Patra, that is, the Tribal Rights Manifesto, in 1995, focusing on housing, health and the dignity of indigenous tribes. In fact, these experiences shaped Prime Minister's belief that tribal communities require not only compassion but also opportunities mainly. And in the years that followed, Prime Minister left no stone unturned for his commitment, and his commitment grew to ensure that every tribal family received what they had always deserved, a life of dignity and self-reliance. And right now we're getting the visuals of Prime Minister doing worship at the Devmogra Dham. Devmogra Dham is a living symbol of tribal faith, tradition and culture, and for thousands of years, the tribal community has upheld its unique tradition of reverently placing the new harvest in a bamboo basket, which you also saw Prime Minister right now doing. In fact, they tie bundles of vegetables and worship items called hidi or hijari and carry them on their heads. And dressed in vibrant attire with women adorned in gold and silver jewelry, they set up on the festive Hob Yatra with music and celebration. In fact, to tell you more, after observing a month-long vow and worship, they offer grains to Yaha Pandori Devmogra with deep devotion and only then consume the new harvest. Thus, in fact, Devmogra Dham is not just a shrine, but a living symbol of the faith, tradition and culture of the tribal community. Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the revered Devmogra Dham offering his prayers. And Prime Minister today will preside over the 150th birth anniversary celebrations of Birsa Munda at Dediyapada in Narmada district also. And on the occasion, the Prime Minister will also lay the foundation stone and inaugurate projects worth 9,700 crore rupees. In fact, for thousands of years, the tribal community has upheld its unique tradition of reverently placing the new harvest in a bamboo basket, and they tie bundles of vegetables and worship items and carry them on their heads. In fact, there's a fair held for 5 consecutive days every year from Mahavad Amas to the day before Mahashivratri, which presents a unique display of tribal folk culture, and millions of devotees gather to see the goddess's blessings, creating a truly joyous scene there. In fact, to the left of the main shrine, devotees also worship the idol of Mahakali Mata, and thus 2 goddesses are enshrined in the same temple. And right now, Prime Minister Modi praying at the revered Devmogra Dham, a living symbol of tribal faith, tradition and culture. which is nestled in the Satpura hills, to worship the goddess, who's deeply revered by the tribal community. Before this, tribal artists from the various nearby states, that is Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and Gujarat, welcomed the Prime Minister in the traditional attire. The temple of the Pandori Mata, the clan deity of the tribal community, is located at Devmogra in Sagbara Taluka of Narmada district. And in this shrine, situated in the lap of nature, amid the gorges of the Satpura mountains, the self-manifested Yaha Pandori Devmogra Mata has been enshrined as Kani Kansari since time immemorial. In fact, tribal communities from Gujarat, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan worship Yahamogi Pandori as their clan deity with immense devotion, reverence and faith. And this sacred Hiladab has held a unique spiritual glory since ancient times. Prime Minister Modi right now in Gujarat, and right now he was offering his prayers at Devmogra Temple in Gujarat.